Hi, this is Dot Porter, and I'm with Courtney Rydell, and we are in the Special Collections Center at the University of Pennsylvania Libraries. And Courtney is going to show us MS Codex 434. What can you tell us about this manuscript?
So this is a anonymous translation into Italian of something called the Legenda Aurea, or Golden Legend, a compilation of saints' lives that was incredibly popular. We've got over 900 surviving manuscripts, more printed editions from the first 50 years of print than anything else. So right here we're looking at a table of contents, which was pretty typical for this collection. What's a little bit unusual is that in this long list of the different saints and the different church feasts that are included, is that you do get these folio numbers written in by a later hand, but you don't have any numbers for the chapters to help you navigate your way around the text.
So it's basically just listing all of them equally?
Exactly, in liturgical calendar order.
Okay.
There are a couple saints missing. This copy doesn't have Vitalis, the Virgin of Antioch, St. Peter Martyr, or Fabian. They were together, so maybe leaves were missing from the original exemplar. And it also omits Boniface, Theodora, and Elizabeth of Hungary from towards the end. So if we turn then to the beginning of the text, we've got this very interesting little rubricated portion that says it's a collection of sermons compiled by Jacobus da Voragine, Dominican, identified as Archbishop from Genoa.
Right, but they aren't really sermons, though, are they? They're like stories.
Exactly. The collection was used as a basis for sermons and possibly as just being preached as sermons. Mm-hmm. This is his prologue, which not all vernacular translations will include, that he wrote dividing the church year into different sections. And it starts with Advent. That's the entry on Advent right here. And then we have a really beautiful opening here.
That's lovely.
At the beginning.
Yeah. And this is a manuscript, but it is written on paper, isn't it?
Correct.
How unusual is that for this
At this time period, not so unusual.
Okay.
I would have to say. The size is a bit small for Legenda Aurea manuscript. It's a size where you could really hold it in your lap. You could do private reading with it. It's not a big book for monastery. Mm-hmm. It would maybe have been really ideal for maybe a well-to-do merchant family, for example, or aristocrats, or a convent. Here we have an important feature of the text as a whole, the interpretation of the name of St. Andrew. And these etymologies that Voragine invented were one of the unique features of his collection of saints' lives versus other ones. Mm-hmm. Out of the 146 entries for saints' lives in the standard text, 90 of them have at least one etymology, and there's also 3 etymologies for different liturgical feasts. This manuscript is also a little unusual in that this translation includes a number of miracles for Andrew that aren't in the original text. So some of the earlier entries have more miracles, which tapered off as the person translating and copying maybe decided they didn't want to include as many. Mm-hmm. So this is a really beautifully decorated page, but we do see on many other pages in this manuscript, as we have with lots of copies, we get these alternating red and blue letters that help us mark off different entries. And these rubricated titles help us find, in this case, say, this is now an Italian title instead of the Latin. Instead of the De Interpretatione, it's Dicesto Nomine Vito, Saints Vitus and Modestus, each getting their own separate etymology with their own letters. That's a little bit interesting. Mm-hmm. And then their legend starting right here with the rubrication to help it stick out to you. There's no running headers across the top, which is a little bit unusual. No early page or folio numbers. It would have been a little hard to navigate this for, say, a priest doing sermons. So this was maybe a little bit more designed for private reading. Whoever did the rubrication, they'd read the text, they had some familiarity with it. So, for example, the legend of Quiricus and Julieta, his mother, his madre, is in here. So someone looked and knew what the relationship was between the saints. They had some familiarity. And again, we have another page here in which we have worked out the different etymologies for two different saints. And Dicesto Nomine Johanni gets its own table of contents entry. It's sort of marked as really, really
interesting. So that's
important.
how you know it's important. Right.
It is, and some of the etymologies get these entries in the table of contents. I haven't seen a manuscript that does that gives some etymologies their own entry in the table. That's pretty unusual.
So this is pretty unique in this manuscript.
I would have to say so. I haven't done a thorough survey. There's over 900 manuscripts.
Well, that's true. Yeah,
but it's a little bit unusual. And you have more sort of pages here that give you all the different saints' lives. And we have the date here in April of 1459 when this was finished.
When it was completed, right.
And then some signatures that definitely deserve some more study of a later owner who appears to be Marie Anglery or something. So again, suggesting maybe a female audience at some point.
Well, this is very interesting. Thank you, Courtney.
You're welcome. Thank you.